Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be looking at how to add yarn from a new skein of yarn. This could be because you ran out of yarn and you just need to add at the same color for a project that is longer than one ball of yarn. Or it could be that you're doing a project that involves color work, which requires you to work with 2 or more colors. So in this video, we're going to be looking at single crochet specifically and how to change to a new skein of yarn when you're mid-row and when you want the new yarn to begin at the start of a row. It's worth noting that when you're adding yarn from a new skein, you always do it with 2 loops remaining on the hook. So no matter what stitch you're working, you begin in the stitch prior to where you want the new yarn to be added to. So let's take a closer look at what that means. We're going to insert our hook into the stitch. This is yarn over and then pull through. And so typically you would finish the stitch by yarning over and pulling through, and that would complete the single crochet. But we're going to complete the single crochet with the new yarn. So I take about 6 or 7 inches of a tail, fold that in half and put it over my hook, and then pull that tail end through the 2 loops on the hook. And that creates a loop on the hook. I'm then going to pick up the yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn. That's the working yarn. I'm then going to work 1 single crochet over both the tail end of the blue yarn and the yellow yarn. So I'm going to grab them both and just bring them close to the stitches there. You can see I'm sort of holding the tails. I've got my working yarn wrapped around my finger how I normally do, and that's different for every person. I'm then going to insert my hook into the next stitch. And then with the working yarn of the blue yarn, I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And then I'm going to complete the stitch by yarning over and pulling through. And working 1 stitch over the tail end of the yarn just sort of helps to lock that in place. For me, it makes it a little bit easier to weave in the ends. If it's confusing for you to work over the ends of the yarn, you don't need to do that. I want to show you how to do it this way because you can do a lot of fun things with color work. And so I'm going to pick up the working end of the blue yarn. I'm then going to continue to carry the yellow yarn under my stitches. I do that again just by holding them up to the row. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through. And then yarn over and pull through again. I'm going to go into the next stitch. Just keeping everything neat here. There's that yellow yarn. We're just working over top of it with a single crochet. So I'm going to actually with this stitch show you how to switch back. You could carry on that way if you were just switching to a new skein with the same color. But let's say you want to do a little bit of back and forth with the colors. You yarn over and pull through. You've got 2 on the hook, and then again you're going to finish the stitch with the new yarn. Okay, I'm just going to pull that blue yarn a bit to even that stitch out. You can see how pulling on it affects the tension of the stitch, so you don't want to pull it too tightly. I'm then going to work over the blue yarn with 1 stitch. Again, I feel like that just helps me sort of lock the yarn in place. It's easier for me to weave in the ends later, but it's not something that you have to do. Alright, so that's how we change to a new skein of yarn in the middle of a row. Now let's take a look at how we will do that at the start of a new row. So here I am at the final stitch of this row, and I'd like for my new row to begin in the new color. So I'm going to do that within the final stitch. I'm going to begin by inserting my hook into the final stitch. I'm then going to yarn over and pull through, and that leaves me with 2 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn changes are always completed when there are 2 loops remaining on the hook. I'm going to take about 6 or 7 inches of my new yarn, fold that in half over the hook, and pull through. I'm then going to move the tail end out of the way. Then I'm going to grab the working end of the new yarn, yarn over and pull through. That counts as a chain 1 for our next row of single crochet. I'm then going to turn and work into the first stitch. So insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through, and that completes the first single crochet. And it really is that simple. I love changing to a new color at the end of a row. All you've got to worry about is weaving in the ends. You can see here what I would do is just cut that gold yarn, weave both of those ends into the light color. If you need help weaving in your ends, I've got a link posted in the top right hand corner, and you can also check out the description below. So over the next couple weeks, I'll be posting what this looks like with half double crochet and double crochet. The principle is the same. We're always doing the yarn change when there's 2 loops remaining on the hook, but I know sometimes it helps to just see it with a specific stitch in mind. I'm really happy to be bringing you guys these videos. I love doing them. If you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe, like, or comment below. It helps keep the content flowing, and I want to be able to bring you as many videos as I possibly can. Thanks for watching. Until next time.